point in season 3, we don't gloss over the fact that there was an earthquake and a siege in consecutive Mays in a major fictional metropolitan place. And we go over that, and that's actually a big focal point for Brandon Routh's character, Ray Parker. And, excuse me, Ray Parker, did I say that right? Ray Palmer.
Ray Palmer.
Whew, Sunday. That's actually it's a focal point for his character because we talk a lot about the fact that nobody wants to live in Starling City anymore, despite the fact that we have criminals on the run at the beginning of season 3.
We're very, very excited while talking about all the different characters. I mean, every time I go on the internet, there's a new superhero or a new villain that's being attached to season 3 of Arrow. How exciting is it for you? You know, not only just the success of Arrow, but seeing all these really cool, iconic DC characters coming to the TV.
So, I feel like everyone is going to know this if you're in this room, and if you're not, you might be in the wrong room. But, you know, we have Ra's al Ghul coming in season 3 of Arrow. And the reaction in Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con when they heard his name and they saw that introduction in the teaser was the greatest reaction that I've ever heard in my entire life. It wasn't a cheer, it was more like a, oh! And it was really cool. It was like something that you hear at a sporting event when there's like a huge dunk in traffic or something. Yeah, it's what DC is allowing us to do on an ongoing basis with the show is incredibly rewarding because we have given them 2 seasons, the results have been really good, and they're giving us great characters.
We were talking backstage about all the new superhero-driven stories that are coming to fall, coming to TV, like Gotham, The Flash, but it was really Arrow that started this for everyone, for, you know, establishing these iconic characters and doing them right. What did Arrow do that was right, that they couldn't get right beforehand?
Well, Arrow has been created by people that love comic books. And it was created in coordination and with the full participation of DC. We're not trying to make a TV show. We're trying to make something that's incredibly cinematic. We're trying to make something that's ostensibly a graphic novel. And it's as we've discovered, you know, these iconic poses and the canon of the comics and bringing that into the show that it really found its legs. We were very much, for our first 9 episodes or so, we were very much an episodic television show, villain of the week, standalone story, and that's because we were trying to find what worked for the show. And now it's heavily serialized, and we embrace the iconic elements. But like we were saying, when I read reviews of Arrow in 2012, it was like, oh, the pilot's good, but as we know, comic book shows don't really work on TV.
Right.
Sorry, I feel like I'm not facing you guys at all. And now, of course, this fall, we have Gotham, we have The Flash, we have Constantine, we have iZombie. There's, what's that show on ABC, Agents? I can't remember. No, but Netflix is doing all the cool stuff with Marvel and Agents. Of course, it's called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah.
And what's the spin-off show they're doing of that? It's like a Agent Carter, that's a really cool idea. I would love, instead of doing 23 episodes of Arrow, I'd love to do like 17, and then in the middle of the year we can do 6 episodes of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Well, speaking about how busy you are, you recently tweeted, working on the West Coast right now, working on the East Coast this afternoon, searching for a flux capacitor on eBay.
That's right.
So, just how busy are you, sir?
We are, and not only that, but we're getting ready for a big, our 8th episode this year and Flash's 8th episode is a big 2-night crossover event, which is going to be amazing. First episode is called, the first episode will be 108 of Flash. It's called Flash versus Arrow. Or Arrow versus Flash, as the case may be. That sounds better. And episode 2 is called
Okay, alright.
But to answer your question, sorry. I already shoot 23 episodes of television, and the idea of doing more, whew, I hope everybody enjoys it, because it's going to be incredibly challenging.
Well, we thank you so much for your hard work, because we just love seeing you on TV. But before we throw to the crowd, I definitely have to ask about Arrow, and about Oliver and his relationship with Felicity. You look at me like that before. So I know you can't say too much, but I would just like to know if there's anything you can tease us about season 3, perhaps if there's going to be a kiss, perhaps if there's anything intimate. I need to know.
Okay, so I went home on sometime this week, and I was taking a nap. It's a true story. And I log on to my Twitter, and I saw an image from episode 301 of Felicity and I, and I immediately thought that the premiere had leaked, and I didn't realize that it was a preview, because the image that was released was like the 8th most important thing that happens in the episode. It's a crazy episode, and sets the tones for the entire season. But yeah, Oliver and we learn a lot about Oliver and his relationship with Felicity and their feelings or lack thereof for one another in the premiere.
Why do you think fans are honestly obsessed with this relationship? Like, what do these two bring out in each other that fans are just driven and just attached to?
I'm not sure. We like working with one another. We are good friends in real life, and we have, she really blended in well, because David and I, in the first season, we had something that we would call Foundry Fridays. So we'd be in the Arrow Cave, whatever we call it, and we would have like 12 pages of dialogue to get through. Which, putting things in perspective, we do days like that where we jam a bunch of stuff in, because every episode is like a finale, and we have big things happening in every episode. And if we weren't able to have this one day where we could get through a huge chunk of the episode, then we wouldn't be able to do all the stuff that we do. So, David and I would goof around, because it's really the only way that you can get through a day like that. And, when Emily came in, she just slid into that rhythm that we have. And also, especially in the first, call it the first 9-10 episodes of the show, boy, Oliver was a dick, wasn't he? He was just part of my language. He was just so sour, and he never smiled, and so it was a really nice reprieve, both, for the character and for me personally, to go and shoot these quick scenes with Emily where I would laugh at her. Yeah. And she would be really awkward, and it was such a change of pace for the show that I think everything grew from there.
I think Felicity brings out the best in Oliver.
Yes, and it's quite lovely right now, because we are shooting episode 305, which is titled The Secret Origin of Felicity Smoke.
Yay!
And I have 4 out of 8 days off. Unprecedented. Unprecedented. And honestly, I will say that Charlotte Ross, who is playing Felicity's mother, we shot a scene on Monday morning, and it was the most fun. We had so much fun that I was legitimately worried that the producers would be like, this is too much fun, you guys have to reshoot this.
Yeah. So exciting. Okay, guys, I know we have, the lineups are huge. Okay, let's go to Gordon first.
Oh, there we are. Okay, that's what's happening. I see what's happening.
Right over here.
Hi, Stephen. I think I speak for everyone in the crowd when we say we couldn't have chosen a better Arrow ourselves.
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to ask, in season 1, you do that really intense chin-up where you're kind of jumping with the bar.
That's right.
How many takes did it take you to get that right? And how long did you have to kind of work out for that to be able to?
So I had, in my apartment in Hollywood, before I got the show, I had a chin-up bar, because I didn't have a gym membership, so I had a chin-up bar. And I would do chin-ups all the time. All this exercise is really being able to dominate the chin-up, so that when you shoot yourself up, there's a moment of weightlessness, and then you take the bar to the next level. And I was training at a spot called Tempest Free Running Academy, and that's where people train for American Ninja Warrior. So they had the salmon ladder there. And David Nutter, who directed our pilot, directed the pilot of Flash, asked me if I could do it. Probably. And then they built it. But the day that we actually shot it, one of the things about a pilot is, once you go to series, you build sets. But for the pilot, the Arrow Cave was an actual cave. And it was 0 degrees Celsius in there. And so in that sequence, when you see steam coming off of my body, that's not CGI. That's steam because it was that cold. But it didn't take that many takes. Subsequently, you know, we have tried to add dialogue when I'm doing the salmon ladder, or we've like in last year, episode 15, when we shot the big flashback, and we see me starting to like do chin-ups and maybe some muscle-ups. Our director for that episode, Glenn Winter, is absolutely famous for not understanding at all how physically demanding things are. Do it again, Glenn! So when you see me struggle with muscle-up in that episode, that's because he had me do it like 9 times. And because it works for the character. Thank you.
Great master plan. Okay, over to the right.
Hi, Stephen.
Hey, man.
First of all, I want to say thank you for coming. Second, I just have one question. Could you, my name's Abdullah, could you say that I failed this city?
You have failed this city. That line is coming back into the show this year. Right? So, and by the way, I give the credit for that to you guys, because it became this iconic element. Well, it became an integral element. Iconic, it's a little bit of a heavy word right there. It became an integral element for the show in season 1, and then we stopped saying it in season 2. And people would come up and say, "Why aren't you saying it anymore?" And I went to the producers and I said, "Why aren't we saying it anymore?" And they said, "Well, we always thought of that as a season 1 thing." And I said, "Really?" And here it is. It's back.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, back over there.
Hi, Stephen.
Hey, I'm great. How you doing?
Doing great. I was wondering, what do you do to keep in shape? Like, what's your exercise routine? Maybe I can copy, like, what you do.
Well, you know, part of it is working 14-hour days. You know, that does it. I'd say that 80% of 90% of any healthy lifestyle falls between diet and just a good mental state. Being happy, being comfortable, not being unreasonable with what you demand from yourself, so that you don't then reflexively disappoint yourself. And then after that, just do exercise that you find fun. Like, you know, when I was in California, I would hike all the time. I didn't have a gym membership. Now I have to have a gym membership because it's like I'm lugging around a weight vest of muscle at this point. And I'd be like 20 pounds lighter if I had my you know, if I wasn't doing Arrow, I think. But you know, I do yoga now, like power yoga, hot yoga. It's really fun, and God bless Lululemon and the outfits that they make for women. I feel like something's got to be wrong when you're in a yoga class and you just immediately feel like a pervert all the time. Yeah, but just good luck with it, with whatever you do.
But you must have a cheat day, like where you eat whatever you want.
No. I'll tell you what I do. I run. Running is the great equalizer, because once you run for over an hour, you can do whatever the hell you want for the rest of the day and not care.
Okay.
Yeah. I did. By the way, when I was in Toronto, I did 3 marathons here. I only did the marathons for the eating afterwards.
Okay.
You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding.
I usually eat and then go running after, so I feel guilty. So I'm doing this wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Okay, back over there.
Hi Stephen, my name's Karina, and hey, so out of the stunts that are on the show and the ones that you've done, which one was the hardest?
The fight in the pilot was the hardest because of the pressure. You know, that was the first time that I really engaged someone wearing the Arrow costume, and our feeling was, if you don't buy this fight, why are you gonna buy the show? You know that expression, you ever get a second chance to make a first impression? This was, we wouldn't, have had a second episode if this fight wasn't good. And, on the show now, I'm much better and quicker at learning choreography for fighting on screen. This was all new to me. I had never fought on screen. I mean, I had murdered someone, but I had never fought on screen. And, and they had me do that entire fight. I wish that I was in charge of the DVD and the Blu-ray for the show, because the stuff that I would include would be after the take, when you see me run off at the end of the fight. If they had just let the cameras roll a little bit, you would have heard me go, woo! And I wish stuff like that was on DVD. But yeah, that was the toughest fight. Welcome.
Because your fight scenes are so intense, at the beginning when you first started Arrow, were there ever moments where you'd get out of character because you were just so into fighting, or would you forget some lines, or was it actually easier than you thought to combine keeping your character with all the fight scenes?
I am always very present in the fight scenes, because the most important thing for fighting is that you fight with the same intent that you say a line. Like if I'm supposed to tell someone I love them on the show, I don't say I love them. Like I put purpose and meaning behind it. And if you're supposed to punch someone in the face, then you want to punch them in the face with your whole heart. With your whole being. And so it's very important. I always stay very present, because I always want to remember that there is an intention behind every move. Whether it's defensive, offensive, a little bit both. I always try to stay present.
Alright, back over there.
Hi Stephen, my name is Lee McClellan. You and I have in fact already met. In 2012 I was at the screening of the premiere episode. You signed an autograph for me.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm sure you remember me. You complimented me on my Marty McFly get-up from Back to the Future, and you seem to like that.
I love Back to the Future, my friends.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually do have a hoverboard and a flux capacitor, so if you like, we can talk after, and I'm ready to help you. Okay, no, actually, my question is, so DC and WB seem to finally be bringing the Justice League to the big screen. I was wondering, to your knowledge, is there any plans on bringing you and your character in that? And if not, would that be something you'd be interested in participating in?
We are creating a Justice League on TV for us. And, thanks, man. And I don't think that there is a logistical reality to us participating in the future side of the business. That being said, I never wanted to have to feel like the show was justified just because we participated in the movies. So I don't think that my character will participate on the cinematic side. But what's that saying? Is it 6 seasons in a movie? On our show right now we have, there's me, there's Arsenal, spoiler, there's Flash, there's Firestorm, there's the inklings of the Atom, there is, the Justice League and elements of it are very present on our shows already. Nice shirt.
Well, speaking about different characters, how is it that with the spin-off in The Flash, we're actually going to see your cousin, your real-life cousin, Robbie Amell, playing a pretty iconic character in there. I mean, what is going on in the Amell family? Can I be a part of it? Seriously, I could like maybe get a Wonder Woman show. You know, finally bring it to TV.
So, I had dinner with Greg Berlanti, who who created our show, and also is the creator of the Flash television series, not the character originally. He's like 40. And he told me about Robbie and Firestorm like 2 months before Robbie knew about it. And so Robbie texted me, he's like, I got a job on the Flash, all capitals, exclamation points. I just wrote back, I know. And I welcomed him to the Justice League.
So cool.
It is really cool though, and you know, Robbie and I, for being in the same business, the only time that we've ever teamed up is in beer pong. We've never actually teamed up on screen together, and I think that eventually there's a chance that Oliver Queen and Mr. Firestorm may cross paths.
Oh, can't wait.
That'd be really cool. I mean, I don't know how, I don't feel like we'd actually be able to shoot it. We'd probably have to like shoot my coverage, and then I'd have to go away, and then we'd have to shoot his coverage.
Cool. All right, back over there.
Hi, Stephen. My name is Happy. I was really excited to meet you yesterday. I would also like to thank you for being a better hero off screen than you are on screen. I work with special needs children, and we both have siblings that teach internationally. And I can't thank you enough. So many of the students that I work with love the character.
Oh, I signed something for your classroom, right?
Yes, you did.
That's right, okay.
Yes. So I can't tell you how excited they're going to be first day going back to school and seeing Stephen Amell has signed this just for them.
That's wonderful.
It is. And thank you for supporting so many kids that are sick, like Sophie.
Yeah, that was really wonderful. That was really wonderful. For those of you who don't know, my buddy Josh, he introduced me to a young girl named Sophie who was diagnosed with, she had a brain tumor when she was 9 months old. And my daughter's now 10 months, and I got to meet that family, and we did I at first tried to auction off an item, and then we decided, based on, again, you guys and your feedback, we decided to do a raffle where we were auctioning off Arrow statues, and DC gave me a bunch more. $5 got you a ticket, raised $91,000. It's really crazy, really cool. And now I'm infatuated with the whole thing. Like I love it. I'm gonna show you what we're auctioning off next. One of the things I brought it. There's the man that made it. Thank you very much. We're going to raise a lot of money with this. Thank you so much for playing. Did I gloss over your question?
I was just going to ask if you could take a group selfie of everybody here.
I will. I'll do it again, for sure. Absolutely.
What is that like for you? You're an actor, you're trying to find a job, you get a job, it appeals to so many people, and then you're able to make these huge differences. Like, what is that like for you? Did you ever expect that?
The absolute best. It is, I feel like Santa. I'm dead serious.
I believe you.
And the truth of it is that one of the reasons that I'm so active on my Facebook page is because I learn lines really quickly. I don't have to focus on memorizing lines that much. So once we've blocked out a scene and I'm ready to shoot it, I'm not Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't talk like Abraham Lincoln for a year and a half. Like I'm relaxed. I goof around. We're trying to have a fun time. And one of the things that I do is I just scroll through my Facebook page, and that has led to stuff like this. And like Jeff, for example, you just posted on my Facebook page that you wanted to make a jersey, and I said, "That's awesome. Please do that." And I mean, we've never met. But I knew him when he came to the booth on Friday, and now we have this, it's great. I'm loving it.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Steven.
Hey, man.
I was wondering, other than Arrow, what was your favorite project that you've worked on?
I don't know if I have a favorite, but I have never been happier in my life than when I booked a one-day guest star spot on CSI Miami. Don't laugh. It was my first American job. Arrow was my 10th American job, and I booked CSI Miami in September of 2010, and I got to pull a gun on David Caruso, and then I got hit by a truck. It's on YouTube, and I've just never been more satisfied, because I'd been in Los Angeles at that point for 6 months, and I had tested 3 times during that pilot season. I tested for Nikita, I tested for Hellcats, and I tested for, I tested for Wonder Woman. Whoops. And I didn't get it. And then I started to audition, and I had auditioned for CSI Miami 3 times, and my manager had said to me, he'd said, when you start auditioning for episodic television, when you go in, they're going to get to know you, they're going to want to know that you're reliable because you don't have a very big resume, and if you do a good job the 3rd time that you audition, you'll get it. 3rd time that I auditioned for CSI Miami, for NCIS LA, and for Vampire Diaries. I booked all those shows. That was the best beers with friends that I've ever had after CSI Miami.
That is amazing. You got to hold a gun in your first show.
They bring David Caruso's gun and sunglasses to him on like a royal pillow.
That's the greatest
Just
thing.
like he likes it.
Back over to the right.
Hope that doesn't get me in trouble.
Hi, Stephen.
Hey.
I'm Robin. I have a question, but first I just want to say Anne. And my question is, it's been great watching Oliver Queen evolve on the show, but it's even been more interesting watching you evolve as an actor as the show goes along. You just get better and better and better, which is amazing. So my question is, what's the most important fashion and which cast member would you say taught you the most?
That's a really good question. The thing that I've learned that's most important is that it takes a whole group of people. I've really learned how important the crew is, whether it's the camera operator, the focus puller. Imagine for a second that you give your greatest performance, but you can't use it because it's out of focus. Think about that for a second. It happens. You know what I mean? Like, some of the greatest performances in the history of cinema are probably in a warehouse somewhere because the person that's sitting there trying to pull focus as you, the erratic, completely impulsive, emotional actor, are moving around all over the place. So I have learned just the importance of the entire team. And who has taught me the most? Susanna Thompson taught me the most. You know, she's Laura's dead, spoiler alert. But she's certainly not. And just, you know, aside from being a very good friend of mine, she really embraced the maternal elements of her character, for me as well. And just taught me, you know, about how important it is to pace yourself and how important it is to represent the show. Because I'm #1 on the call sheet, and you know, I feel like it's my responsibility anytime there's a guest star on the show to make sure that they feel welcomed, to make sure that they're in the best position to give their best performance. And she taught me the most about that stuff.
Question.
Hi, my question is if you could team up with any superhero from any franchise on the show, who would it be?
Firestorm! He's never making this mistake again. We're sitting in Ballroom 20 at San Diego Comic-Con, and the moderator just tees up a question for me. He goes, which character on The Flash would you really like to work with? And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I said, Jesse Martin. Which is true. I'd really like to work with him. And he goes, not Robbie Amell? I get a text from him like 20 minutes later with Jesse Martin, question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point, and on and on and on. Yeah, that's right.
Hi, what it's like to work with John Barrowman.
Oh, man.
We love you.
With respect to that, to the, not the last question, but the question before that, I would throw John Barrowman into the mix. You know, he's got the jacket. He's had his show. And he has taught me so much about using all of the energy that you guys give us and harnessing that when it's 4 o'clock in the morning and it's raining and you're on a rooftop and you're shooting a scene that you've been shooting for 8 hours. He's taught me so much. Working with him.
Can you tell us?
I can tell you, it's usually very cold and very wet. No, it's my wife sent me a text the other day with him holding my daughter with the evilest grin on his face. And she couldn't be happier. John and I, for being on the show together for now 3 seasons, have had precious few actual moments together. There was a quick moment in our 6th episode, our 9th episode, and then you know, the end of the year, 22 and 23, and then we didn't see each other all last year. This year, we see each other. And it is, I have never been so fired up as I was to shoot the first scene between Oliver and Malcolm this year. It is, we had 275 extras there for the scene. Yeah, big stuff. And then, of course, the camera stopped rolling, and he just will do like a weird dance move or start singing a show tune, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, John, I'm trying to focus. I love it. It's, working with John is my favorite right now.
In regards to John Barrowman, I've seen on YouTube that when you were chained up, he loved to grab...
Hey, grab my nipples, yeah.
Has he called any other stunts of that and that jazz kick?
What's that? Sorry?
That jazz kick when you two were passing in the...
Yeah, that's right. There's a cool... I highly recommend searching, type in Stephen Amell, John Barrowman, same story. We were at a panel and we told exactly the same story, except I tell it from a seated position, you know, like hunched over like this, and he's up on stage pirouetting and doing all this stuff. And but we tell, because we've been talking about it at dinner the night before, we tell the exact same story. I recommend it. It's a fantastic, fantastic YouTube clip.
I hang with John Barrowman.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
I have to say, your daughter is super cute.
Thank you.
My question is she always a serious baby, or is it only when you're trying to take a picture of her?
She was no, she's great, and she's doing all this stuff right now. She's a beautiful, beautiful baby. She's actually a vegetarian, which I learned recently. You guys have to hear this, okay? I swear to God, this is my daughter trying beef for the first time, right? So you won't be able to see see it visually, but imagine she's sitting in a chair and meat goes in her mouth, and she chews for a couple of seconds, and then at the end of this, it's about 15 seconds, she swallows. She's gorgeous, and she's into all this cool stuff now. She's, you know, she's walking. She's an adventurer. She hasn't cuddled with me since she was like 2 weeks old. Because if I hold her in, she's like, "Dad, this is stupid. There's adventure out there." It's cool stuff right now. I tell you, I highly recommend having kids to everybody.
Has it changed you as an actor at all? Are you like in terms of, I don't know, your character and kind of the depths that you're able to go to?
No, I don't think so, because I don't necessarily rely on personal experiences to get to places. I know that some people do, and I appreciate that technique. For me, she is, a lot of people have said, "Oh, you have a daughter now, it must be, you know, so much more hectic." I'm like, no, it's way easier. Because, you know, before, in season 1, for parts of season 2, I feel like the show, important though it is, can't be the most important thing in my life. And there were stretches of season 1 where it was the most important thing in my life. Now, as a father, my priorities have really settled. And I feel like everything is in sync and feng shui the right way. I'm a feng shui enthusiast. And, so yeah, it's changed me for the better.
Arts Mountain.
Back over to the left.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
I just want to say I'm a huge fan of you, and I've become so much more of a huge fan seeing how much of an amazing human being you are and how much you help people out.
Oh, thank you.
And my question was, it's funny because I watch series over and over again, and seeing you on TV shows that I hadn't seen you in before, I hadn't actually realized it was you. It's a really cool experience. So I was wondering, because I've seen you in Private Practice, Vampire Diaries, and Heartland, I was wondering which of those 3 you preferred working on, like what was your favorite role, and what cast was the best to work with?
Well, Heartland is great. Heartland's still going, right? Good for those guys. That's amazing. I don't know, what are they on? Season 17 at this point? My goodness. Vampire Diaries was really cool. You know, because it was the Vampire Diaries, and you know, and it was interesting working with everyone there, and being introduced to the CW. That mattered in the grand scheme of things. But I'm gonna have to go with Private Practice for the very simple reason that Amy Brenneman taught me more as an actor than any actor that I have ever worked with. She set the framework for me for how I behave on Arrow when new actors come on the show, with relating to the crew. And I was telling someone this story earlier, but who had me sign a Private Practice picture? Is that person here? They didn't make it. It's okay. It's okay. You know, on Private Practice, and this is a sort of inside story on TV. I was supposed to. They were thinking about my character really sticking around. You know, my character, it ended with my character got beat up and I just left. But in terms of my relationship with Amy Brenneman's character, they originally had Amy Brenneman show up with her son and to my apartment and be like, "I'm all in, this is great, let's go for this." That's how it read at the table read. The next day, I booked Arrow. Okay? So instead, she showed up without her son and went, "I can't do this." That's how things go sometimes. But no, working with Amy and that whole experience, Amy, Paul Adelstein, you know, that entire cast, Kate Walsh, Shonda Rhimes, working with those people, and that was also the first job that I ever got offered. So that was. Can I tell you one more story about that? Sorry, is this too much practice talk? No! Shonda Rhimes has me in for a meeting. Shonda Rhimes, prolific, like arguably the biggest television producer on the planet. She has me in for a meeting for the role of Scott on Private Practice. So I walk into the meeting, super nervous. I've never been in anything like this, I just auditioned. And about 10 minutes into the meeting, she said, "So are you excited?" And I go, "For what?" And she said, "Well, for the job, for being on the show." And I said, "Do I have the job?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, we just wanted to meet you and make sure you weren't an asshole." That's a true story. Sorry for part of my language, but yeah, that's one of my favorite stories.
That was the first time they offered you a
First time that I got offered a job. Yeah.
Wow, that's huge. Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for volunteering.
This year at my very first convention, and you were my very first photo op and panel, so thanks for that.
Thank you very much. That's great.
And you also sorry for everyone, but parkour me, and that made me sore for a solid week after that, so thanks for that. But I just wanted to ask if you could bring any character, fictional, real, into the Arrow universe or characters, who would you bring and why? Yeah.
Well, my answer to this always, when asked this question, and it was true, it was also because I knew it was happening, was Ra's al Ghul. And just because, you know, we've been teasing that character in our show from episode 16 of season 1. And now, we've referenced Ferris here a lot. I think it'd be really cool to have a Green Lantern, you know? That would be awesome. So hopefully that happens. I have no inside information, unless I do.
Are we going to see a much darker tone in season 3 with Ra's al Ghul?
We're going to see Ra's al Ghul. You know, actually, season 3 opens up on a much lighter note. I'm enjoying playing Oliver this year because he's a little bit closer of a proxy to me. I'm not serious. I'm not a brooder. And we find Oliver in that position at the beginning of season 3, and then horrible things happen, and of course he has to, you know, things get a little bit sour again. But it's a big theme of our season is identity, and Oliver being comfortable with the person that he is.
Will his relationship with Roy kind of help him be a little bit more goofy?
That has been my favorite part of season 3 so far. The relationship between Colton's character and my character, we are in a really good spot. We're in a big brother, little brother spot, and we have been trying to find, you know, little moments where I do everything short of like giving him a noogie. You know? So that's been cool. But the Oliver Roy relationship has really evolved. Hey.
His birthday's coming up in a few weeks.
Cool.
I was wondering if I could get a short video recording of you just saying happy birthday to him. His name's Adam.
His name's Adam?
Yep.
Is your camera ready? Hey, Adam. You ready? Adam, what birthday is it for him? Okay, so I'm going to say happy birthday, and then when she points the camera towards you guys, everyone say happy birthday, okay? Adam, happy 22nd birthday, right, friends? Happy birthday! Oh boy, it's all downhill from here for you. Thank you very much.
Alright, back on there. Hi Stephen, my name is Krishna, and wow, this is amazing. I'm really shaking right now. My question was, you know how Batman has the Arkham games? I wanted to know if Arrow would be doing something like that. And my birthday's coming up. It says I would love for you to do something like that soon for me. Camera's ready?
Well, happy birthday to you, absolutely. And you know, on the video game front, you know, I got to voice Green Arrow in Justice Gods Among Us. I got. By the way, I'm sure that it was done, but did Green Arrow really have to be lying on the ground between Superman and Batman on the cover? Really? People ask me to sign it all the time. I'm like, come on, man. That was really cool. I voiced Green Arrow in another video game that's coming up, which is pretty cool. But we don't have our own video game yet, and I think that it would be great. I get asked the question enough that I feel like it would be popular. So hopefully now with the Flash, and hopefully it does really well, and we can build the Arkham style game for Oliver Queen. You guys would like it, right? I'm on it. I'm working on it.
Maybe go back there. Okay, back up to the left.
Hi, I'm a huge fan, and my question is, why do you choose to manage your own social media and not get someone else to do it?
Question. That's good.
That's a good question, and I didn't set out to do it this way, but I feel like if there is not an authenticity to social media these days, because you're doing things that other people do. I'm not going to have a Facebook page. Anyone can have a Facebook page. Anyone can have an outlet. Anyone can have a YouTube channel. Anyone can have Twitter. So if you're not being authentic, if you're not representing you, people can tell. And I never made the decision. It's just something that I enjoy. And then the major catalyst was I was reading an article on George Clooney in Esquire magazine over Christmas break. And it was all about how George Clooney basically said, if you're a celebrity and you have Twitter, you're an idiot. And he is defined by being unreachable. So I thought, okay, that's one end of the spectrum. What if I tried the other? What if I tried to be reachable? What if I talked directly back and with people? What if I asked people questions? And I feel like we're just at the tip of the iceberg. I made this decision when I had just a little less than 500,000 friends on Facebook, and that was 8 months ago, and now we have 2.5 million. So hopefully it keeps growing like that, because I feel like I feel like our ability to influence. There are things that have happened on the show because of the fan base, and I know what those things are because people are able to get in touch with me. So I think that it's the model for any public person in 2014.
Wanted to meet you. I got to get a picture of you yesterday. Just for all the Canadian fans here, I know you've done it on Facebook and kind of put me on the spot here, but do you mind doing the Arrow intro for everybody here?
They love when you do this.
Except I always get mixed up between how I'm not taking my shirt off. It happened one time, because I was guilted into it by a kid in front of like 7,000 people, okay? So if you want to see me take my shirt off on a panel, access YouTube. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'll do it for you, man. My name is Oliver Queen. For 5 years, I've been stranded on an island with only one goal: survive. Now I'm returning. This is where I always get messed up. I can't be the man that I once was. To honor my friend's memory, I must be someone else. I must be something else. Previously on Arrow. I'm gonna have to work on that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to pick which one I know, and I'm gonna have to work on it because I've been embarrassed now twice that I've forgotten it.
Oh, no. That was good. Speaking of of the island, at the end of season 2, we see you in Hong Kong. So are we going to see flashbacks of you on the island still, or is this all Hong Kong now?
Well, we know from watching the show that Oliver eventually ends up back on the island, but our 3rd season is very much the Hong Kong chapter of the show, and it's really cool. It adds a different element to the show. It makes my life a little bit easier because we don't actually have to film the island sequences. The wig is bad, but it's not as bad, and it's still pretty bad. And I'm really enjoying it so far. We've shot 5 episodes now, but of those 5 episodes, only 3 episodes are my flashbacks, which is another wrinkle for the show this year. I mean, last year we had a Diggle-centric episode, the Suicide Squad, and we got to see Diggle's backstory, and that's, I think, when people realize that it doesn't always have to be Oliver's flashback. So as a result, when we do a flashback story, it's no longer filler. It's all really important, crucial stuff.
First off, I just want to say it's Rachel, not Razaku.
Yeah. And so I know. Nissa calls her father Raish, but unfortunately I wasn't around when it was established, and it's Roz.
Well, when he comes,
unless he shows up and I'm like, hey Roz, and he goes, it's Raish.
And my question is, what is Errol's martial art, and do you train yourself?
That's actually, Oliver is learning a particular type of martial art this year, and also one of the cool things that we're going to do this year is we have never in the present day seen Oliver learn anything new, except for maybe how to smile more. And in terms of combat, Oliver is going to learn something new this year, which I'm excited about. And for me, I've done some jiu-jitsu, but in general, it's just. If fighting on screen was a martial art, and I feel like it is, because there is a technique to it, that would be what I train in. How do you throw a punch that doesn't actually hit someone in the face, but it looks like it hits someone in the face? That's what I train in. Thanks, man.
Other than Slade and Merle, what was your most favorite villain to face?
Slade and Merlin and the Count. Yeah, I loved Seth Gable, and I told that story. I don't talk about people in the past tense. I love Seth Gable, and he's got his show Salem now, which is really cool, and gets to grow an awesome beard, which is even better. And I told that story earlier about focus pullers. The Count was this crazy guy, and so the focus puller would try to pull focus, but every once in a while, randomly, Seth would just go like that, and that pulls you out of focus. So I would actually walk up to our focus puller on A camera, either Sean or Paul, and I'd be like, hey man, I just read the script. And he'd be like, oh yeah? And I go, Gable's coming back. True story.
Now, we're actually going to see a new Vertigo, right? In season 3.
Yeah.
Is that Peter Stormare?
Yes, it is. Peter Stormare is he's playing Count Vertigo.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
I don't know, but I've just always that scene in that movie where they're chopping up the body. I'm always just terrified by him.
Well, he's a terrifying man.
Yeah.
I can speak from first-hand experience. One of the cool things, though, is I found out when we came on that he's a big fan of the show. Actors that I am fans of, that are big fans of the show, I'm always like, that's just really cool, man. It's just, I become a fan right then.
Hi, Steven. My question is, now that we're going into season 3, I'm wondering, is there anything you would like to see Oliver do that he hasn't done before?
And I'd like to see Oliver do that he hasn't done before. There are children here. be ashamed of yourself. Okay, other than that, what would I like to see Oliver do? I would like to see Oliver get his own place to live. Because Oliver's 30 years old. Okay, and we actually find him in season 3. He is living in the Foundry. Living in the Foundry. 30 years old. But I think that's going to change relatively soon. Need a bachelor pad.
Okay, we just have time for a couple more questions, so we'll get right over there.
Watch me go rapid fire. We can answer 6 more questions. Watch this. You ready?
Yep.
Oh, really? I lied. Sorry. Sorry.
Hi, I just wanted to know, you had a lot of emotional scenes this season with Laurel in episode 14. You had another one with Sarah when you were breaking up with her in episode 16. In episode 17, you have an emotional moment you try to keep about secrets keeping.
Yeah.
In episode 18. Sorry, I watched them all last night.
The point is that Oliver goes on a profound emotional journey in the second season.
One character each in every episode. So I'm wondering which was the hardest one to film for you as an actor and you as a character?
The hardest scene for me to film in season 2 was the scene where we flash back to 2 years prior to even getting on the Queen's Gambit, and Oliver has just learned that his one-night stand has lost the baby, even though she definitely did. And shooting that scene, that was my last scene with Susanna Thompson, both, you know, in terms of storyline and in actuality on the show. And I get really emotional in that scene, and it wasn't originally scripted, and it was incredibly difficult. That was a very true moment that Sean threw, that thankfully played on the show. Yeah, man. Thank you.
You guys had such awesome questions. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but what else would you like to say to your fans before you go?
You know what? This is always going to be home for me. So, you know, being here, some of the people that I've seen. Is Troy here? It doesn't matter. The point is that I've now got to see people for a couple of years, and always home for me. I love you guys. Thank you so much, everybody.